So Crunchyroll recently dropped the translated trailer for the Orient anime. For those that don't know, Orient is a manga series that is written and illustrated by Shinobu Ohtaka. However, she is probably better known as the mangaka of Magi. The reason that I'm bringing up Orient's trailer is because if you go to the comment section of the video, it seems like way more people wanted to see Magi Season 3 get announced instead, but they still won't finish Magi. Make the last season for Magi. All I wanted was Magi Season 3. Even when the Orient anime was announced earlier this year, it was actually Magi Season 3 that trended on Twitter in Japan. So obviously there's still interest from both the Japanese and international audience, which brings up the question, will Magi Season 3 ever happen? To answer this question, let's take a look at a few different aspects of what helps determine whether an anime gets a continuation or not. In general, anime are made to promote and increase the sales of whatever the source material is. This could be a manga, light novel, or visual novel. There are anime original series not based off of any existing story, but in Magi's case, the anime was made to promote the manga series. If we take a look at the sales data, I think that we can safely say that Magi's anime did a great job at promoting the manga. Because the year before the first season came out, Magi wasn't even on Japan's best-selling manga list at all. But in 2012, when the first season of the anime aired, it got a huge boost in sales and jumped into the top 10 that year. Then the series stayed in the top 20 bestsellers list for 6 years straight, until the manga ended serialization in 2017. With that being said, because the manga already ended a few years ago, there aren't going to be any new volumes being released anymore. This gives less incentive to the production committee to fund another season of the anime. For those that don't know what a production committee is, it's basically a group of companies that come together and pool funding to produce a piece of entertainment. In this case, an anime production. When we take a look at the companies that were behind the production of Magi, I think that the most important one for us to take note of is Shogakukan Shueisha Productions. Shogakukan is the company that owns Weekly Shonen Sunday, the manga magazine that Magi was published in. Realistically, at this point in time, Shogakukan and Weekly Shonen Sunday are most likely focusing on trying to promote newer manga series that are still being published and ongoing in the magazine. However, while Magi may not be getting any new volumes anymore, the anime returning could encourage fans to purchase the older volumes of the manga. This phenomenon is called backlog sales, and it generally happens when an anime is released. I'm not saying that this is guaranteed to happen with Magi again, but I do still think that it is something to take into consideration. So in the US, DVD and Blu-ray sales have been on the decline for years now. However, physical media sales and rentals are still somewhat prevalent in Japan, at least compared to the US, especially for anime. With that being said, it has decreased in recent years due to consumers' viewing patterns changing. This is due to a shift in preference towards streaming services and digital distribution in general. The reason that I bring this up is because anime DVD and Blu-ray sales in Japan are very important to the financial success of an anime series. This sales data is tracked by Oricon, the same company that tracks manga sales in Japan. Also, usually the company that produces and distributes this physical media is also part of the production committee. In Magi's case, the company behind the physical distribution was Aniplex. Aniplex also happens to own A1 Pictures, the anime studio that animated both seasons of the Magi anime. So because Aniplex was part of Magi's production committee, it means that they provided part of the funding to produce both seasons of the anime, and they also provided the supply for the physical media associated with the series. What I'm getting at is that this all means that it was in their best interest that Magi's anime sold well. So how well did Magi's DVD and Blu-ray sell? Well, looking at the sales data, it shows us that Magi's DVD and Blu-ray sales were relatively good for the first season, at 7,228 average units sold per release. But it decreased quite a bit for the second season, at 2,885 average units sold per release. From what I've read online, good DVD and Blu-ray sales for anime in Japan are usually anything around or above 10,000 average units sold per release. Magi's first season was pretty close to reaching this. However, the large dip for the second season made a potential third season less desirable for Aniplex to put funding towards, because they possibly lost money due to the sales dropping. Something else that I've been hearing around is that if Orient's anime blows up and boosts its manga sales considerably, it'll greatly increase the chance of a Magi continuation happening. The thing is, the success of Orient isn't directly related to the success of Magi, because Orient is published in Bisatsu Shonen magazine, a Kodansha magazine, while Magi was published in Weekly Shonen Sunday, a Shogakukan magazine, as mentioned earlier in this video. With all that being said, I do think that if Orient is able to gain popularity, it will probably bring more awareness to Shinobu Ohtaka's name name and brand recognition. So in conclusion, sadly at this point in time, I think that Magi Season 3 is very unlikely to happen. With that being said, I wouldn't write it off completely. I think that if a third season did get announced, it'll most likely be really unexpected. Not exactly the same, but similar to what happened with the Bleach anime returning. I bring up that specific example because Bleach was another long-running manga series that ended, but it's finally getting an anime continuation years later. Well everyone, that's all I have for this one. If you enjoyed watching, then please leave a like and subscribe so you'll know when I post new content. Thank you all for watching, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful day.